In this video, I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I was 1 for 40 in AAA, stressed out, and talk about how I got out of it, the worst slump of my life, at the level that was the closest to the major leagues, and where I needed it the most, and how I can help you with this. So this story all goes back to just how ruthless baseball can be, right? I get to AAA, it's my first year there. I just lost my first season in AAA to COVID. So this is the last year of my minor league contract. I'm feeling a ton of pressure, right? I'm on the Omaha Storm Chasers. We were one of the better teams in the league. Every single starter in the lineup besides myself had major league service time, which I never made it to the big leagues, and that's okay. But everybody in this outfield, right, had major league service time, was on the 40-man roster. So I felt already a pressure to perform just based off that fact alone. Not to mention the fact, and this is something that y'all that maybe haven't played up to this level haven't heard before, but opening day comes up, right? And our manager comes up to me and he says, hey, you're gonna start against righties and the other outfielder is gonna start against lefties because I'm a left-handed hitter. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Even though I was a reverse split guy, which means I hit lefties better than I hit righties, just based off of my swing and the setup. Opening day comes around the next day. We're in Omaha, Nebraska. It's about 30 degrees. Guess whose name's at the bottom of the lineup? Miller, right field. So there I am, starting after being told that I'm not playing. And what do? Luckily, I was prepared because that's what I was focused on, is preparation. Can't control anything other than myself. Homered in the first game, thinking, feeling good about myself, made a strong first impression in AAA. I'm feeling good. I'll be back in the lineup tomorrow. Get to the field the next day, righties on the mound, look at the lineup, not in the lineup. Okay. Mentally starting to do some hurdles a little bit, some questioning of myself, man, what's going on? Anyways, move on. Next game comes around, back in the lineup. So I sat, homered, sat, back in the lineup. It's my birthday, homer again. Right, late game home run. Feeling pretty good about myself. 2 games in AAA, have hit some fastballs, out for home runs. Get to the field on day 4, 4th game of the season. Look in the lineup again, not in there. Okay, so now I don't know what to think, right? I'm starting to kind of just already start to mentally do some things that are unfair, judgmental of my performance. Did I do enough? Am I not good enough? I'll never be good enough. I don't know. All these types of things can start to go through your mind when you're not mentally stable and really prepared for the true kind of grind of being right at the top of the minor leagues, but not quite there in the big leagues, through major league camp, which I was invited to for the first time in my 7th year of being in the minors after being a third round draft pick. Finally got that big league camp invite. Well, I played third most games in the org, but never got to start a game. And that in itself kind of mentally had me feeling like, okay, I'm good enough to be a part of the major league game, but maybe not really in the plan. So that's okay. I'm going to go here and control me. Come out, control me. Still not in there. Okay, that's fine. Well, next series, scouting reports get out, young guy in AAA, whatever, first year, they're going to test me with fastballs. I can hit the fastball. So now I don't start to see fastballs, right? And this is when things really start to pick up and really start to, the negative snowball effect comes, the mental spiral that I want to talk to you guys about. So start to struggle, hitting a lot of balls on the ground, pull side on the ground, swinging and missing. It's fastballs up and in, fouling them off, just missing them. There's cutters in on my hands, I'm rolling them over. There's change-ups down and away, I'm missing them, hitting them off the end. A lot of weak contact, a lot of chase. Not a great plan, not a great approach. I'm just trying to, get my swing off and prove myself. A lot of ego involved here, but start to really kind of go through it. And next thing you know, I'm 1 for 4. Next thing you know, I'm 0 for 4. You stack up a couple of those. Start to look at the stats. You sit a game, you play a game, another 0 for 4. Next thing you know, it's been a week or 2 without a hit. All of a sudden, I look up and I'm about 1 for 30, 1 for 40-ish range. Even the balls I'm hitting hard, dugout starts to get quiet. Hey, man, keep it up, man, keep it up. When you get to this place, if you're listening to this, you probably relate. You don't want to hear that, man. It's dark, right? It's dark. You can't sleep. You're taking your bat home at night. Your spouse, your significant other is also receiving this. You're taking your at-bats home with you. You really can't separate your identity from the outcome, your results from the process, and really started to struggle bad, man. And this is mentally where performance anxiety really showed up for me in a way where I had never really experienced it. And if you're listening to this, you're not alone with mental health issues. I know Jaron Duran from the Red Sox just spoke about this as well. A lot more serious, and glad that guy's still alive. And man, he told his story, but I just want to tell a story from my career where mentally the anxiety was crippling and the stress, because I got to a point with this battle where I was feeling so stressed out that I felt like if I was in the lineup, if I didn't get a hit, I was going to get called into the manager's office after the game. If I wasn't in the lineup, okay, great, I got a day to reset, but I still have to go out there and prove it, right? And then it got to the point where I was showing up to the field hoping for a day off because I just felt like it was all too much and I didn't really know what to do. And I felt like I was playing tug of war with this immovable object, right? And I was just pulling, and no matter how hard I pulled, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get out of this. And they say when you're digging yourself a hole, the best thing that you can do is just let go of the shovel. And that's what I did, and that's what I want to share with you guys. And what I did is I just completely let go. We were on the road, St. Paul, Minnesota, and I finally felt like I hit rock bottom. We're on the bus ride back on a Sunday night, and I just didn't know what else to do other than just say, it can't get any worse from here, right? I'm hitting somewhere in the 100s, well below my body weight, and all I'm thinking is this really how I want to go out? Is this really how I want to do this? Absolutely not, right? And if you're listening to this, I'm sure you might relate. A feeling in this way where like you just feel so in your own way and so like the game's not fun anymore. There is a way out of this. And what I did was I started to think back, and I want you to do this if you're listening to this and you're struggling right now. I went back and started thinking about when were the times where I enjoyed the game the most? When was I playing my best? How did I feel? And this is the power of the mind. I started to think back to when I was a kid. I just enjoyed the game. It was me versus the ball. And then I started to think back even more, further, closer to the draft when I was playing my best. I was at Western Kentucky University, where I'm lucky to be an all-century team member. I was just breathing. It was just me and my process and a deep breath, digging into the box. And then beyond that, after I got drafted to the Royals, 98th overall, I was in Burlington Royals in the Appalachian League, only spent 10 games there. But the only thing that I was worried about was just executing my process. Take a deep breath. And at the time, because I learned from Tony Gwynn, if you've listened to him talk, all I was thinking about was just breathing and getting my knob to the ball and through the ball. And those were the times where I was at my best. I was just fully focused on the moment. I wasn't in my own way. And I thought, how do I do this, man? I got to do something. So luckily, I'm not going to lie, I was able to reach out to a friend of mine that had access to video department from the opposing dugout, and I just reached out and said, man, what do you see? And he just told me it looked like I was just chasing hits, and I looked stiff and tight and anxious and very just not confident, and swing was bad. I didn't look like I was in control. I'm hitting in the bottom part of the lineup. I'm not feeling worthy. All of these different things are coming into play in this situation, and I had to make a mental shift, and I had to make it fast. If I didn't make this shift, I'm gone, right? AAA at this point, you're either producing or there's a prospect coming up behind you. And what I had to do was let go and just think, when this is all said and done, when my career is all said and done, do I want to look back on it thinking I went out doing what somebody else was telling me to do, or do I want to go out my way? And if you're listening to this, that's what I want you to do. So what I started to do was just say, I'm going to fail anyways. If I'm going out on my own terms. And with the help of a friend that I won't name, who helped me with my swing needed help, but also my mind was begging for a break. I was drowning. I just let go and just said, all I'm going to focus on is breathing, reading, and writing, and visualizing myself have success before I get there. And I started to work my way through this process where I would sit down before the game at my hotel, at the apartment, and just breathe and think back to myself being in that red and white Western Kentucky Hilltopper jersey, that Russell jersey, oversized, but man, I felt good in that number 20. Just thinking about that, thinking about when I was at the Burlington Royals and how I was playing there, and I was just playing free. I was not worried about failure. I wasn't worried about being a top 30 prospect on the Royals organization. I was just focused on being me, just focused on being Anderson Miller, man, and just trusting myself. And I would just take a deep breath, visualize myself just taking those same swings, and started to visualize myself taking pitches and making the right decisions and being in control and not being sped up and feeling smooth and calm and fluid. And the thing is, all of us have access to this. We're always looking for hacks. We're always looking for the solution. This is the solution, man. So I started to make this decision to just say, I'm going to just go up here and just say one thing over and over in my head, right? And for me, it was see it up, because I felt like if I saw it up, I was going to just react and make the right decision. Breathe, see it up. And I would just say it over and over again. Next thing you know, first game, whack, line out to center field. After I made this decision, and I walked back to the dugout, and I said, this is it. This is it. Trust it. Just let your breath see you through this adversity. There's light at the end of this tunnel, but the only way that you're going to find it is to let your breath lead the way. And that's what I did. And sure enough, before you know it, I found my way out of this. I start homering on fastballs, changeups. I start hitting balls out, backside, dead center, pull side, off righties, off lefties, off sliders, off curveballs, off fastballs, off changeups, off cutters. I'm just on the barrel with everything. I'm not swinging and missing. Everybody's looking at me like, man, you look great, man. I feel great. I feel free. I freed myself up. The truth is, you need to give yourself freedom to fail, right? Baseball is set up to fail. If you're watching this, you're probably putting too much pressure on yourself to succeed anyways, right? Listen, success is what you make it, and success is in the effort. And the only way to truly succeed at this game is to get out of your own way and be consistent, right? You have to know that whatever you're doing, you have to ask yourself this question: am I okay with how I'm taking my at-bats right now? If I did this for the next 100 at-bats, where would I end up? Right? That process, whatever that process is for you right now, may not be good enough. Don't worry. This process that I just talked about, I've created, and it's ready for you. It's called the Presence Method, and it's going to help you change your career. It's literally going to change your career. If you're listening to this, go check it out. It's in the bio. It's in the description. I'll pin it as a top comment. If you're watching this, go invest in the Presence Method and invest in your mental skills and your mental health and free yourself up. Right? It worked for me at a level that couldn't have been more stressful for me. It felt like there was stress from both ends. You don't have to deal with that because of the Presence Method. It's going to free you up, and I know it works. It worked for me. Everything that I'm saying into this camera as if I'm speaking into my younger self. So if you're watching this, know that I wouldn't have said this if it didn't work for myself, and I wouldn't bring it to you if it didn't work. The Presence Method, it works. Got me out of the worst slump of my life. It can see you through any stress, pressure, adversity that you're going through. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.